I never draw by heart.
For us animator, we have two main problems.
There is not just one Jesper.
I want my technique to not be visible.
Open up, open up, open up! Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Keep it together, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together, keep it together.
So after 1.5 years of working on Jesper every day, I'm proud to say that I still have no idea how to draw it. 1.5 years is not enough to learn a character like this. So what I do is, whenever I am tying down one of my scenes, unless I find something that is really wrong and obvious to see, that is visible, I always put the model sheet into my scene. I enlarge it to the right size so that I always have the character visible beside my own drawing, and so that my mistakes become obvious. I never draw by heart, okay? I cannot do that. One of the animators who came visiting the studio, he asked me what I struggle the most with when I work with Jesper, and I told him that I struggle a lot with drawing more than acting. Acting is more or less clear to me every time. I don't have to struggle a lot on that. I mean, even if I have no clear ideas on how I have to make him act or move, somehow I find a way. But when it's a matter of drawing him, I really struggle. I really do. And so he advised me to put the model sheet underneath my drawing and cheat the hell out of it, literally. This is what he said. So this is what I do. I cheat. Now, all these tips here are things that it took each animator and me, including me, a lot of time to find out. What I learned from working on this production is that, and it's quite obvious, there is not just one Jesper. There is Thor's Jesper, there is Maxime's Jesper, there is Miles' Jesper, Alvisa's Jesper. They're all different, and I think this is a good thing, because we need a slightly different Jesper according to what's happening in the scene, right? If the scene is comedic, we need a Jesper that is more squashy and stretchy, so maybe Capote's Jesper or Miles or mine could be good for that. But if Jesper says something serious in the scene, something emotional, maybe it is better to have a more solid construction or more realistic construction. So Maxime's drawings, for example, are a great reference. The early Yoshi drawings were fantastic, especially on the hair, I remember. So the model, since the first Capote's drawings, evolved during the production. And you should take, every time that you see something good in a drawing, you should take it.
Daddy, can I help you mail the letters? Can I help you put the medals in the letters and put them in a stamp with the post?
Wait! Do you know how long it took to press this uniform? I don't either, but it took somebody hours. Hello?
For us animator, we have two main problems. One is sorting out the acting in our scene, making the acting effective and believable and spontaneous. The other problem is drawing character well enough to look like in the other scenes, to be consistent with the model. So this is the main two problems.
Let's just talk about his head. Start from a circle, and I immediately try to understand his axis. This is the most important thing to define the attitude of the character, not just in the head but also in the body. What you should look for is the axis, because according to how they are oriented, you can already define a lot in the attitude of the character. So the axis of the head has to be the relationship between the axis on the head and the shoulders, for example, makes a lot of difference in the attitude, okay? So that is really important. And also the attitude on the belt line and so on. So first you draw a circle and then you take care of the axis here. And what I do is I carve here a little bit into this shape to find the face this way, more or less. And then I start with the nose. The nose more or less is between this edge here and the chin, so it's more or less around here, more into the upper half than the do this. And then one thing that is important is to place the eyes more or less inside the lower half of this sphere here. Sometimes they cross this axis here. They are more or less here, but I draw the eyes as a last thing. When I started drawing Jesper in the first period, I put the eyes quite early in the drawing, and that was wrong. It came out like if he was getting a punch from Goku in the stomach. It was like, you know, coming up like this, because the eyes were too much placed on the convexity of the sphere, and instead they are inside this concavity here. So you have to make sure that you find this concavity here. For example, what is really useful, let me see if I find this. Okay, this is one of the most important page into the guide. This mask here, see this sort of bandit mask on Jesper's face. It's very important because, as you can see, the eyes are not just circles on another circle. They are placed into that concavity, and this can change a lot the look on the character. So make sure you do that. Make sure you find that concavity there, that sort of mask. Of course, according to Jesper expression, that changes a lot. So if he's angry, this is what you get. Of course, this mask here, the eyebrow mask can get quite prominent if he lowers the eyebrows, and also the nose bridge here can get this sort of bulge. See, and then once you know that, you know where to place the eyes more precisely inside this concavity, which makes it cartoony and realistic at the same time. Then I go to place the ears somewhere here. Then I take care, after this, I take care of the sideburns. The sideburns start at the half of the eyeball. So make sure that once you draw the eyeball, once it's drawn, the sideburns have that corner there around half of the eyeball. Okay. Once you define the sideburn, which, as you can see, follows the profile of this shape here, the sideburn follows that line. It's not a straight line. It's not like this. It has a slight curvature there. Then once you find this edge, you can go and find the other edge on the other side. And one other important trait that makes Jesper look like Jesper is that when you draw the chin, it's not just if you check Capote's drawings, it's really apparent there. When you find this shape, it's not like a normal arc like this. I mean, it's not symmetrical. If Jesper is looking 3/4, it's not symmetrical. It's more curved here and more straight here. This is because of the neck. The neck comes from back here, and so this attachment here is really what makes the character look like he's a little bit like this. Alright, so make sure that this part of the curve is slightly straighter, more vertical than this one. This one is a little bit more curved. Okay, so this to be more clear, this is where the neck attaches. Okay, so we started from the circle, we made the axis, we did the shape of the face here, which is again around twice the size of the ball. So here, right? Then you can adjust. I keep adjusting, even if I start from a construction, I keep adjusting the character until I find the right way. So it's normal, it happens to me all the time. Don't be afraid of that. Face, twice the length of the head ball, and then here around half we find the nose. It already looks like Jesper a little bit if we start from these shapes. And then what is important now for me, once I get to this stage, is what is the expression, what is he doing? Supposing that he has the mouth is closed here, because if the mouth is playing an important role there, I don't do this. But let's keep the mouth closed for now, okay? And focus on the expression. If according to his expression, he changes a lot here. So happy Jesper would be like this, with eyebrows open, close to the forehead. If he's angry, it would be like this, and this part would get more volume. Always we should be aware of this mask the whole time. This is the most important thing. And then we place the eyes inside this concavity here. As you can see, the eyeballs are in the lower part of this sphere. Okay? Then again, I find the corner here where the sideburn has that corner and becomes hair. From here up it's hair, and from here down it's sideburn. And then I draw the sideburn with 3 lines. One that is following the shape of the head. Let me do one more layer over this. See this line here, which follows the shape of the face, this line that goes slightly outwards, and then this one that goes inwards. In general, I think that what makes my Jesper look comedy, I think, is the fact that I use the least amount of lines possible, and my lines are quite simple in shape. I don't do a lot of this, you know, I don't spend a lot of time finding corners and giving complexity to the characters. Actually, my way of drawing is really simple. I do quick, and I almost count my lines. I was counting today how many lines do I take to draw a leg, for example, and it's about 11 or 12, something like that. So it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See, the simplest gesture makes the drawing more readable and more fun to look at. What is important also is that, as the guide says, you can find it on Shotgun, to use that Csi Principle, which has nothing to do with crime scene investigation. I found out this like 6 months later, but it just means that some shapes are C, like a C, some other shapes are like an S, and some other shapes are like a straight line. Okay, I'm just translating for stupid people like me to save you time in understanding what CSI means. So these curved against straight lines, against S lines, have to be always in contradiction with each other. So if you find yourself drawing a straight line, the line beside shouldn't be another straight line, if possible. Maybe you could use this shape, or I don't know, this shape, but avoid doing a perfect parallel line, because this is not gonna work, it's not gonna look right. Even on the boot here, as you can see, they are slightly pointing outwards as they go down. They are never like this. His boots are not like this. So the same principle applies to the face. And so maybe the only parallel thing I can find sometimes is that this line could be parallel to this line in a way, but not even that much. But these lines are, there is a relationship between these two lines because they frame the face in a very nice way. Okay, so I find the other sideburn, and then the ears happen to be around here. And also for the ears, for example, I use 3 lines, 1, 2 inward curves like that, and another big one here. Inside, same thing, but slightly, see, this way they are not parallel inside. Always trying to find a way so that they are never parallel. And this is the ear. So one common mistake that I see on early drawings of Jesper is where to place the mouth, which changes a lot the look on Jesper. And it's usually, if you have the chin here, drawing the mouth here in the middle between the nose and the end of the chin, it doesn't look right, even if it might be right from an anatomic point of view. No, Jesper has his mouth very close to the nose, so this gives him a lot of chin, which is more Jesper, right? So make sure that this distance is quite short. It can change sometimes, especially if he's doing this sort of expression. You can push that down a little bit, like this, but not that much. Not that much. Still, you should keep this distance less than this one. Okay. And then about the rest of the head. Now, if he's wearing the hat, the hair is compressed. So instead of starting from tangent with this ball here, which is what happened when he's not wearing the hat, we do this, like this, okay? And then this defines the edge of the brim of the hat. So now when I draw the brim, I always think about Donald Duck's beak, because that gives a lot of expression to the character. The fact that this line is pointing outwards, I like it a lot. I like it less when it's straight. It is less fun to look at when it's like this. I like to have at least a slight amount of contrast with the line inside here. Sometimes we also draw this line to give the depth, some other times we don't. It's up to us, according to how nice it looks. And then getting to the hat comes from this main shape, more or less like this. And then you have to decide exactly how tall this is. You have just to look at the model sheet. There is no formula for that. And then once it looks right, you have to draw a perfect ellipse here, Now the hat changed a lot during the production, but the current model right now is something like this, and this edge here is where the one that kept changing during the production, the upper edge here. Before it was like you pull a line from here, you find the front, and then you do it this way. But then now I can see that in the latest Thor's drawings he did for marketing, he is starting to do a rounder edge here and a more graphic shape, which is more similar to what was in the original trailer, and I like this a lot because it's less three-dimensional, it's less logic, it's more like graphic, you know, like this, which is nice to look at. So, drawing the eyeballs. Now the eyeballs, again, you should keep it simple. They are not, well, not too simple though. You should think that there is a globe here with some sort of, yeah, the eyelids act as curtains on the globe, so they are over it. And so if the eyes are wide open, it means that the eyelid here is completely pulled up, and then there could be some sort of skin here, meaning that there is tension there. And under here, the eyelid underneath here does the same job. So to me, what works is to have around 1, 2, 3, and 4 lines to make the eyeball, which is one for the eyelid down, one for the eyelid up, which is the main one, the main stronger one here, and then these 2 lines to connect the eyelids. You can see that especially when Jesper has eyes half closed, like this. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 this little bit here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna make some drawovers on some keys I found that I think could be used to point out some of the common problems that you can find on Jesper head especially. So now what is left is define what is on the other side. We cannot stop here. We need to draw whatever is left here, and so we should find the other tip of the other ear on this side, this way, and then this profile here, this zigzag shape, we find it here again. And this can be kept quite simple. It's like almost straight lines but slightly curved for the hair. It's quite graphic. We do need to get more complex than this.
The goal for every interpreter, like for example a pianist or an actor, they should disappear behind the art they do and make the audience believe in that magic. So the technique has to disappear. That's my goal. I want my technique to not be visible. So I try to stay within a very narrow range. That is, to not oversimplify and to not overdo it. That's what I try to do all the time.